Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Wookieecast, Wookieepedia's podcast where we sit down and talk with all the people behind our galaxy far, far away. Today, we're joined by Christopher Sean, the voice of Kazuda Xiono in Star Wars Resistance, as well as Asu in the Village Bride episode of Star Wars Visions. Christopher, thank you for joining us, and it's a pleasure to have you here.
I really appreciate you having me. Big fan of Wookieepedia, big fan of Fandom, now that I know everything about it. And congratulations to all your successes, man. You deserve
Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Like I was telling you off camera, it's just kind of surreal that after all these years, we're now sitting down and we're talking to the people who are creating this galaxy. So it's a great journey. And speaking of journeys, how did your journey begin? Everyone's kind of got a story of how they got to where they are today. So where did your journey begin, and how did you get where you are today?
Well, I feel that I'm still climbing this mountain of the entertainment industry, and I've got a long ways to go. And I'm still very hungry. But I would say I started off, and my father was in the Navy, and my mother, being Japanese, they met. Me and my sisters are here. But my dad would record himself reading us books when he was deployed, and we would get the package in the mail, and we get to watch my dad on VHS tapes and reading his books. And my dad was just he was a character. He was very fun, very funny. He would, I'd watch him on TV reading us these books from a self-recorded tape, and then I was always like, I want to be just like my dad. I want to be big, and I want to be strong, and I want to be funny, and I want to be intelligent. And then my mom would get the camera and she'd record us, and I'd be a silly. I literally had recently watched a video of me being like, yeah, just having some chicken, and I'm going to get big and strong. And I'm like this twig of a kid flexing up, trying to impress my pops. But yeah, so that's kind of my comfortability came on camera. I was always extremely shy, but around people I cared about and loved, I was very open, very fun, lively, a little crazy, maybe. I don't know. But from there, it was just, I always wanted it, but I was too afraid. And I finally got out of my own way and just kind of started pursuing it.
I think that's honestly something that's very similar with a lot of the people on Wookieepedia. We're all very comfortable kind of working behind the scenes, just kind of existing in our own little bubble. But then we kind of started branching out into social media and realizing, there's this whole community out here that not only loves us, but wants to kind of help us grow even further and kind of go to the next level. And it's kind of surreal when you have the moment of like, hey, people actually know what we're doing here.
One thing I really appreciate about Wookieepedia is you guys have provided a service that people not only needed but wanted, and it's a very honest service. It's very real, it's very accurate, and that truth, there you've become a source for source material that people can rely on and believe. And that's why I feel that nothing that's self-serving. It's just, here you guys go, we're taking care of the fan base. And the fact that you're just so accommodating to the fan base is why they love you so much, including myself. I told you a story off camera about my stepson's family. Like, you're not in Star Wars, and then they Wookieepedia'd me, which is, now it's a verb, I guess. So they Wookieepedia'd me, and I was like, yeah. They're like, holy moly, I've never met anyone with a Wookieepedia page. And I was like, cheers, thank you, Wookieepedia.
That seems to be from kind of everyone I've talked to in the industry about just kind of all of this. That seems to kind of be the general consensus, is when you have a page on Wookieepedia, you've made it. You've gotten here. You're here now. Do you think that's an accurate statement?
I would definitely say that once you've gotten a Wookieepedia page, yeah, you've been acknowledged by the Star Wars community.
So you've done a couple different series now. So you've done Resistance, you've done The Village Bride, but what have you worked on kind of outside of Star Wars?
Well, I was doing on-camera work for a little while. It took me about 9 years. I've been doing it for about 18 years. And the first, I'd say, 5 years, I didn't really know which direction to go. I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of looking for others to help me in not creating my own game plan. And then when I finally took responsibility for my own career, I started understanding my trajectory. I got a lot of help from people casting directors that believed in me, and friends, anyway, lots of people that kind of started helping me, pointing me in the right direction. And I booked Days of Our Lives. I did that for 4 years. simultaneously filming Hawaii Five-0, where I played the main villain. And I did that for 3 years. And then after Days, I did Star Wars Resistance. I did some movies here and there. I did You on Netflix. I did NCIS LA. Kyle Harimoto, amazing. Dude's a genius. I've worked on Gotham Knights. I play Nightwing. That just recently came out. It's a PlayStation 5 next gen consoles and PC property. And I'm working on a lead of a very large animated feature film coming out in 2024, and another video game coming out in 2023 with NDAs I can't talk about yet. But
I was gonna say, I know the question that everyone's gonna want me to ask, and I know you can't realistically answer this, but any Star Wars in that future?
well, I can say this: at Star Wars Celebration, they did announce there will be a sequel, a second season to Star Wars Visions. So I'm allowed to say that. However, my involvement, I don't know about myself. So it is a dream come true, because for me, I'm a huge Japanese anime, manga, that whole world of Japanese art and anime is everything. I grew up with that. And Star Wars as well. I grew up with that. My dad, being silly, he would tell us bedtime stories in the voice of Yoda and Chewbacca fighting 100 ninjas, which
Oh, I
left
love
or right of
that.
the door. So for me, it's my childhood mixed with my both American and Japanese mixed together. That's what I
Oh,
love
I love
about
that.
Visions.
That was when the series came out. That was one of the big things I heard from a lot of people on site, was just, you get this perfect blend of the different elements of your childhood just merging together. You get, on the one hand, you have all of these amazing these amazing studios that create, so many amazing shows and manga, and it's merging with the world of Star Wars. And it's like you get the chance to tell the stories of, what would happen without so much breaking the actual continuity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they at first, I think they said that it was non-canon, and now they're
Yeah.
saying it's canonical. Am I wrong about that, or is it canonical,
So
or is it not?
it technically falls under non-canon.
I mean, you guys would know.
Yeah.
If
So
anyone would know, you guys would know.
so the series itself is non-canon. We've of course all kind of done our own little head canons of, like, okay, how would some of this actually fall into here? But for the most part, it's just kind of a fun little what if series with then we also had the novel Ronin, done by Emma Camden, as a little
Amazing.
reimagined galaxy, drawing inspiration from Japanese culture and storytelling and lore. So when you got into Star Wars Resistance, how did you get there? Was it did you have to apply for a role, or did they reach out to you?
It was kind of funny because I'd been wanting to do voiceover for a very long time, and I've been reaching out to my agents, and they were just kind of like this niche, this very very hard to get into branch of the department, and everyone wants to do voiceovers, I was told. So I was like, cool. I kept reaching out to the agents, and they were like, yeah, we rep you, but when work comes, we'll let you know. And I didn't get any like auditions for a very long time. I got my very first audition was for Redline in Voltron. Steven Yen booked it over me, and I was just like, I got to the producers at DreamWorks. I got all the way to the end, and I thought, holy moly, like this is awesome. My very first audition. That's so cool. My second audition, I actually got a call from Lucasfilm, and they said they wanted to meet with me. And I was like, well, this is interesting. Sure. Like, this is huge. Like, this is every kid's dream. And my agent calls me from New York, and he's like, hey, I'm your agent from New York. Like, why is Lucasfilm calling for you? Who are you? And I'm like, who are you again? He's like, I'm your agent from New York. Why are they calling you? I'm like, why are you calling me? He's like, let's meet up. Let's have lunch. I was like, he's coming to LA. And so we sat down. His name is James Murray. He was amazing. Really, really cool cat. Man, he's awesome. Nice guy. But yeah, he basically was like, we don't know the size of this property. We don't know exactly what your role is going to be, but it seems like it's going to be pretty big if they're calling for you. So let's see what happens. And I went in, I met with the team: Justin Ridge, Brandon Allman, Athena Portillo, Mandy Munoz, Josh Ridge. I mean, the name Josh Rhimes, excuse me. The names of the people there, like, they're the coolest people to me, because I get to work with them. I know who they are. It's so loving, so kind, always just like, it's like family every time you show up on set. But when I auditioned for the role, I just thought to myself, I was like, this is like surreal. I'm actually getting the opportunity to audition for Star Wars. And then when they finally told me, like, okay, so the show revolves around your character, you're going to be the lead of the Star Wars franchise. And I was like, holy cow. And that's when I booked the show. It was pretty incredible.
It's just kind of like that childhood dream kind of comes true. Everyone has that dream of being in Star Wars. Here you are, you've made it. You're the main character in a big animated show.
Yeah, yeah, it's almost as cool as being on a Wookieepedia, almost as cool. It's definitely right up there.
I think I can safely say that there's going to be more than a few people on site that are going to want me to do a follow up in the future. So you're more
Yeah,
than welcome on here anytime.
I appreciate that, Mr. Supreme Emperor. Sir.
Still one of the coolest names on Wookieepedia. I maintain. That is debatable among our community, but I maintain my place. So when you were recording for Resistance, what was do you have a particular favorite maybe moment or story from that recording?
There's so many, so many. I think probably one of the coolest moments was the end of episode or the end of season 1. I had read the episode. Um, Kaz's home planet gets destroyed, everything he's known, and to really dive into that, the idea that your hometown, your home world, everything about your past is just taken away from you. I'd really tried to understand the mentality someone would have to go through in that moment. And on the day when we were filming, the director was kind of giving me, the weight of the moment, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I understand, yeah, absolutely, no, I get it, this is going to be exciting. And she was like, okay, let's do it. And I get right into it in the depths of, because I've been working this all night, but I get right into it, and I'm screaming, and I'm just, and the whole room went silent. And I just remember thinking, like, that's exactly what we want the audience to feel as well. So I thought this is going to hit a lot of hearts. This is going to be the moment that I feel is really going to bode well with the fan base. And everyone was like, that was awesome, let's do it again, let's do it. I was like, yeah, let's go right into it, I love it, yeah. I'm wiping tears, I'm like, yeah, this is great, yeah, I love it, I'm so happy.
That scene absolutely resonated with so many people in the Star Wars community. One of our editors, actually, I told you off camera, she's just going through Star Wars Resistance now and just finished season 1. And getting to kind of just see people's reactions as they're watching it is just surreal. It's like, you get to kind of experience that first feeling that you had watching it all over again through someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one thing that you were saying is that, when you jump into someone's live stream as Wookieepedia, the excitement that they have, like, oh my God, Wookieepedia is acknowledging this or me or whomever, right? Like that, I still get that. So I appreciate you guys, man.
For reference to anyone listening, so what I love to do with our with the Wook official Twitter account is if I see a couple of fans doing a little live space or just kind of hanging out on voice, seeing what's going on, I love to just drop in from our Wookieepedia account and just not say a word, don't even acknowledge or interact that I'm there, and just wait for that moment about 8 to 15 seconds in where someone's like, wait, what? Guys, and I'm like, sup. It's just it's so surreal getting to kind of bring some joy back to this community, because historically it's got its kind of loud toxic elements, but there's more of us.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, like, the people that are toxic and bad mouthing the franchise, they're still also avid watchers, and I'm glad that they're watching the property. I just wish that they weren't so angry about it.
That's exactly what we're hoping to change a little bit. I'm hoping that in time we can kind of inspire the next generation of Star Wars fans to be a little more positive and open about the things that they love, and not feel like they have to maybe kind of keep it hidden because everyone around them is yelling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you were recording for Resistance, was there any sort of kind of background research you did into preparing for that role of Kaz?
Because the show itself was kind of it wasn't Jedi centric. It was kind of the life of those who weren't Jedi, who'd heard of the lore of Jedi and Sith, and even you know, the emperor, the empire, they'd known of the empire, they'd known of you know, the darkness within the universe. They weren't really there to see it. This was a show about pod racing. This is a show about uh, fighter pilot racing, you know, and those kind of who gotten away from the main storyline. So the more, I mean, understanding, I'd watched all of the movies, and I'm a big fan of the movies. So, in being able to watch the movies again was awesome.
There's
But
never a
also, it was one
bad
of
time
those,
to watch the movies.
yeah. But I mean, also, it was one of those things where it's like I still wanted to put my own fingerprint into this universe without taking too much of others, and I worked directly with the writers, and I worked with the team, and I just tried to make sure that I was the best puzzle piece rather than trying to be my own standalone thing. I wanted to be a piece that fit in perfectly with everyone else. So I always wanted to make sure that I was bringing what they wanted with my own original twist. And that just comes from life experience, I would say. Just like any position at any job, you're going to show up and you're going to do it. You're going to do it great. But there are those people who are fun and make everyone around them better. And then there's people who are bad apples and they're a little bit louder or a little bit rude or whatever that may be. They make things a little bit worse and not as fun. So I wanted to always bring in a familial feel. Like when people show up, I was there half an hour to an hour early all the time, every day. I'd stay as late as I could just to encourage and support. And I would sit down with every person. I'd look at them and, you know, eye to eye. And I'd try and build a connection so that they felt safe. And when they gave great and when they gave their performances, when they did everything they could, I was always there encouraging them, dude, that was awesome. Like, do that again. You know, like
I love
my
that.
goal is to provide such a safe and secure area where you feel that you're at your pinnacle of creativity. And again, that's what I was going for in reference to what I provided was not only my taste and my understanding of life and life experiences and my love for Star Wars, but also give the other actors an opportunity to just completely play. And of course, they have already hired the best of the best. You got really amazing talent attached to the property, but at the same time, it was one of those things where, you know, I always do everything I can. I know if you're a part of something, you've taken the social media of Wookieepedia and blown it up, and now you're doing your YouTube series and so forth. For me, it's like if I'm a part of something, whether it's small or big, I'm always going to do my best to make it the best it can be, just like you.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I think that was kind of one of the big things that kind of the big vibe that people got from Resistance and from, you know, both yourself and kind of every other voice actor who was working on that show was you're having fun doing it. It's not just, you know, a job. It's not just, you know, you're making some money. It's you're doing something that you're deeply passionate about, something that you can kind of pull some childhood joy into
Mm.
and kind of maybe bring that to another generation of fans.
Yeah, I mean, we were very, you know, we were a family-based show, and we wanted to be the introduction to the youth, people who, like myself, I grew up with it. And but if I watched that show, I'd be like, this is great. I get to explore more lore of the Star Wars universe, which is wonderful. But if my kids watch that, you know, I was watching my youngest who was watching, and he was just like, it's not Christopher. That's Kaz. Like, and, you know what? Like, he didn't hear my voice at all. You know, he was like, he heard, hey, BB-8, CB-23, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. So that's what he's hearing, you know? So it's not me. He's hearing Kaz. And he was enthralled. He was loving it. And just to see him experience the
Oh,
whole
that
world.
is
Like,
beautiful.
and it opened up to all, you know, now he loves all the Star Wars, you know, all the franchises. And it's like, if that's your introduction to it, we want to make it as fun, as vibrant, as lively, as action packed and adventure, and still heartwarming as possible. And that was the vibe we were going
Oh,
for.
I love that so much, and that's the same vibe that I've gotten from a lot of the current creators who are doing, you know, novels and comics. Is it's just have some fun, having a good time. You know, that's what Star Wars is. It's we're all here. We're not all here to shout. We're all here because we love this and we want to have some fun. So I think that's beautiful.
Dave Filoni actually came in. He's got his cowboy hat, signature
Always
look.
got the cowboy hat.
He's like the coolest man. He's so kind, so cool, and he, you know, gave a speech to the entire team, and I was shaking because I was so like, oh my
Like
gosh,
this is
Dave
him.
Filoni. Yeah, and I'm talking to him, and he, you know, giving a speech, and at one point he kind of turns to me and he says, "You, Christopher, you're Kaz. You're our Kaz. You're shouldering this franchise. You are Luke Skywalker. You're our Ahsoka Tano. Like you are Ezra Bridge. You're Kaz, and it's up to you to do and put your heart into it. And then the more that you love what you're doing, the more that you will draw those who love what they see. And that's all that matters. Put your heart into it, love what you do, and that passion will bring the right audience." So
that is beautiful.
I apply that to everything now. Literally, it's one of the most important things to me. And I'll even tell producers now, like, look, the union's got the regulations. You tell me what you need and I'll get it done. Okay. Like, I don't care. We don't have to tell them. I'm going to stay as late as I can to make this property work. And they're like, yeah, okay. You're too passionate. I'm like, all right, I love you guys. Bye.
There's no such thing as too much passion for the role, in my opinion. I've heard that so many times over the years from people who have worked with Dave on projects like the Clone Wars, and just kind of that passion that he'll bring to it, and just kind of that excitement and joy. He's one of the people I would love to get on our series sometime. He's just not an easy man to reach.
Yeah. EPing so many properties, including Mandalorian. When that was like my favorite. When that first came out, I remember we were at Celebration and they announced the Mandalorian, and there's so many people in the Mando Mercs outfits. I was like, dude, what is this? This is going to be huge. And lo and behold, like, it is probably one of the coolest properties out. Now they've got a whole slate of amazing properties. They really did a great job of kickstarting this whole Star Wars universe.
Were you there when they were doing when they did the kind of live reveal for the Mando S3 trailer?
No, I didn't see that. No.
We all got to watch it in grainy cell phone footage, as was intended. That the entire time they were doing their streams, I want to say it was around the time that Christina Ariel was talking with Hayden and Ewan. We're all just watching Twitter from everyone who's there, being like, "They just dropped the trailer and they just dropped all this." And it's like, someone record it for us. I know you're not supposed to, but we need to see it.
That's the best. So they're like, don't put your cell phones away. No one's allowed to record this. And it's like, got it. Yeah. I love that.
One of my favorite things. I've talked a couple of times with people who are working on like the Star Wars social media teams, and I get the feeling that's one of the things they love doing, is just kind of giving a little subtle push to the fans and just seeing what happens from it. Like at Celebration, around when they were launching Obi-Wan Kenobi, a friend of mine who was on Twitter had spoken with some people from their team, and they had just kind of given a little, "You guys should check Disney Plus a few hours early if you catch my drift."
Yeah.
So of course the first thing they do is send us a message of like, "Hey guys, I think something's coming early. They said to check it a few hours early," and so it's probably going to be an early launch. And that was right before I was going to fly to LA for Fandom's Community Connect, their kind of in-person convention. Wow. Where they just kind of do a lot of networking and team building. Just kind of put a bunch of editors in a room, kind of see what develops from it. So, of course, I immediately messaged Brandon Ray, Fandom's VP of Community, and he's also a huge Star Wars fan, and one of our other admins. I'm like, "Hey, you guys, it's going to drop early. You guys can't sleep. Like, I know I have a flight that takes off in less than 8 hours, and I'm going to get no sleep, but I got to watch it." Brandon got no sleep. We were very much jet-lagged after that. It turned into, I think, like maybe an hour and a half of sleep before a flight to LA, followed by like a full first day of activities.
Wow. And that's where are you guys from?
I'm out of Ontario. Brandon was out of San Francisco, and
yeah. So that time difference as well. Top of life. Oh my gosh.